So upcoming Friday nights, me and the degenerate boys that we are, we're coming back with the betting show.
You look at the way he bounces off tacklers, the way that he keeps his eyes downfield, his vision, his ability to find holes, his pass catching ability, right? Because he had.
In my lifetime, I'd put him at probably around the 2 area, with again the only other person up there being King Richard.
Anthony Richardson or Caleb Williams at the 111.
Yeah.
So just hit us.
You know what I was thinking about as that intro was playing? Who the hell was I talking about in that running back segment? 2025 prospect. Would have compared him to, I think I compared him to Jahmyr Gibbs at some point. Was it Genty? Was I talking about Genty? Maybe I was talking about Genty. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of BSing Sports, where we do a little BS and we talk a whole lot of sports. I will host this week's show. So me, Ryan Swift, at BSing_sports, will host this show. And here with me, as always, is Mr. Jacob Krogan. Mr. Jacob Krogan, how are you today, sir?
I'm good, brother. I'm good. I'm glad to be home.
So we're trying to figure out when we're doing these shows. We want to be more consistent and develop a following so you guys know when we're going to be here. We're trying to hash that out. Apologize for having to do this show early. Jake's got to go do some life stuff, and life does happen to exist. So
True.
For those of you that are not degenerates like me, I am in the middle of a startup already. 8th round just kicked off. Superflex, 12 team, start 11. What's going on, Peter? How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I'm in the middle of a dynasty startup. 12 teams, start 11, 3 wide receivers, 3 flexes. Superflex, tight end premium. The tight end premium is 1.0, so it's 2.0 per reception for tight ends. I like my team so far. I like my team a lot. Tim, as usual, flying around the board on the startup, being real active. He can, pop into the comments, share about his team if he likes. But yeah, started that on Saturday. So Dynasty never sleeps, so neither do I. And speaking of Dynasty never sleeping, we are going to kind of talk about the quarterback landscape for 2026.
Quarterback landscape.
Guys, give you guys the information. Here's what's gonna unfold. We're gonna talk about draft prospects. We're gonna talk about free agents. We're gonna talk about guys who are either trade or cut candidates. We're gonna talk about the teams, and we have different tiers for where we think like these teams rank as far as what the likelihood that they're going to end up with a new starting quarterback is next year. Jake has 7 teams. I have 8 teams. We'll talk about that. Yeah, Jake, so quarterbacks, draft prospects, we'll just kick right off with draft prospects here. We've got the names that I have on this list here. And what I want you to do in this exercise is tell me how many of these guys you think are week 1 starters come 2026. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't like the screen setup.
I can't tell if he's talking about me.
I don't know who he's talking about at all.
Screen
Thank
setup.
you for tuning in to me. Thank you for tuning in. Is that Noah?
Noah.
Yeah, so draft prospects, and feel free to add any other names to this list. I did mostly the people who A, already declared, or B, have to because they're seniors. Fernando Mendoza, Dante Moore, Carson Beck, Cade Klubnik, Garrett Nussmeier, Drew Aller. Why don't you go ahead and tell me about any of those guys who you think are going to be week 1 starting quarterbacks in 2026 for an NFL team?
Okay, so, one, I think only realistically 2 of these guys should even be considered as first-round talent. What's up? Sehaj?
All right. I'm assuming you're talking about Mendoza and Moore.
Yeah, Mendoza and Dante Moore here. And Dante Moore hasn't even declared yet. We're going to figure that out. We'll actually probably see if he goes out and beats Indiana this weekend.
Mendoza hasn't even declared yet.
Ooh, this is true. What's up, Tim Hawkins? As always, we appreciate the people that do follow us. So please like, share, subscribe. and we're just trying to grow this brand. Go ahead, Ryan.
Hawkins had some quarterback questions, so I told him to ask them on this show.
I'm excited to hear him. But yeah, no, Mendoza winning the Heisman. He is on a college football playoffs. I'm excited. Godsend right now. Just beat the shit out of Tim Montgomery's Alabama team here, and he just looked composed, poised, knew where he wanted to go with the ball, and made all the passes accurately, which is he's done all year. He is, to me, probably the most pro-ready quarterback in this draft. And then you have Dante Moore, who is more of a raw talent, was a raw talent when he signed with, I want to say UCLA.
He started with UCLA.
Yeah. And so when he did that, yeah, he was raw, stayed there for a year, played, didn't look that good, transferred to Oregon, sat behind good old Dylan Gabriel, learned the ropes, and then this is his first year as the full starter and has looked absolutely dominant. Still has a lot. He's young, he's raw, but the talent's there, the mobility's there. And so to me, out of those 6 names, those 2 are probably the only ones, if they declare, which we don't know yet. Like I said, college football playoffs still going on. But Carson Beck, you kind of know what you're getting with him. He is a game manager. He's not going to do any wow plays. He's going to try and not turn the ball over, but if he gets pressured, he does tend to make bad throws there. Cade Klubnik, athletic, kind of in the same realm with less arm talent as I just lost the Giants quarterback.
Talking about Jackson Dart?
Yeah. Kind of on the same level as Jackson Dart in my eyes. And then Garrett Nussmeier, as an LSU fan, I feel like he got a bad shake there. Heisman hopeful, got injured, didn't play well. The team played bad, fired their head coach. They, I think, just were trying to save their quarterback, their second-string quarterback, to come back next year. That's why he got benched and to get healthy. And then Drew Aller, I mean,
Hurt.
Yeah, got hurt. But honestly, never really impressed me when I watched the film. Doesn't do anything spectacular. But I mean, if anybody were to surprise me here, it would be Garrett Nussmeier to come out, start. He can make he could still make all the throws.
I'm messing with you.
And just had a terrible time at LSU, and I feel bad for him.
Yeah, so I like some of your takes there. I have in my notes that I do not think Dante Moore declares. I do think it's a possibility, right? Especially if this, like you said, if he beats Indiana, if he goes and wins a national championship, right? At that point in time, outside of money, what else would he have to play for? But I think college NIL money isn't even as good as first overall pick in the NFL draft money. So I'll start from the bottom up, though. From the list,
name's Arch Manning.
So Drew Aller, when I watched him early, skill set wise, Ben Roethlisberger written all over him. Size, kind of the same arms, arm talent. It just never unfolded for him. He was supposed to be Ben Roethlisberger and played like Charlie Batch. So that's kind of how I, put the cherry on top there. I think he's a day 3 pick, especially with the injury coming in. I think the only reason that he should be considered at all is because this is a relatively weak quarterback class. Mm-hmm. And historically, about a third of the NFL changes their week 1 starting quarterback year to year, whether most of them are just outright replaced. But there's, the 1 or 2 retirements. There's the injuries in training camp. So Garrett Nussmeier, you watched him a lot more than I did. To me, he screamed Tony Romo. That's exactly what he looked like in college. That was my comp for him. Kind of the same awkward like arm slot too. Like Romo kind of threw like a weird 3/4. I saw that out of Garrett Nussmeier from time to time. But I mean, Tony Romo produced good fantasy numbers in the NFL. So, and I think Garrett Nussmeier, deserves a shot. I think, I am the ultimate Brian Kelly hater. So everything that ever has gone bad or, is his fault. That's kind of where I'm at with that. Why don't you answer Tim Hawkins' question?
Okay, Tim Hawkins said, well, the question is either Darnold or Murray for startup. And honestly, the question is who's your first quarterback? Because
It's
if
either
either of these
Darnold
are your
or
first
Murray.
quarterback, your team's not shaping up good.
Darnold or Murray is the first. That's not actually his first quarterback, but that would be pretty funny.
That'd be rough. But no. Okay, there we go. The brass tacks there. For those that don't know, most of us do on this show, we do tight end, premium, super flex, and so we always do the two quarterbacks here. You have Herbert. I'm going with higher upside here than I'm taking Murray. And solely, I do love Murray. I do love Kyler Murray, so I have a little bit of bias here. But ultimately, in fantasy football, rushing is king when it comes to quarterbacks. Just look at any of the number one quarterbacks over the past decade. Odds are they had a ton of rushing to do with it. And so
I also agree, Kyler Murray. Fun fact: Sam Darnold for fantasy points per game didn't even finish as a top 24 quarterback
yeah.
in either 4 or 6 point passing touchdowns. So the Seahawks had a lot of success, but and I think that JSN having the season that he had, people are going to kind of tie Sam Darnold to that success. But the reality is Sam Darnold did not have a lot of fantasy success at all. Like I said, didn't even finish as a top 24 quarterback in points per game. So
He had some good games, but he also had some very low games.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty rough coming down the stretch, if I remember right. Back-to-back games. This includes Week 18, but back-to-back games with 8 points. Week 15, 11. Week 13, 3. Week 11, 4. Week 10, 6. Mind you, this is all in 6-point passing touchdown scoring, not even 4. So, yeah, I mean, he started out hot, and again, JSN had a great year, but this was Kyler Murray's worst fantasy season, and he finished quarterback 21 in points per game with 18 points per game. So I think that, he's due for a rebound. To me, it doesn't matter where he goes, because to your point, he's got a very safe floor with rushing upside. And out of the two, if I had to peg like who's going to finish as top 12 quarterbacks, Kyler Murray.
Fair enough. And to answer Timothy Brant's here, what is that? All 4 C's?
See, I've been noticing this too. Like the comments have like these weird like tags at the end of the YouTube names that were never there before.
Huh. I think you're right. By golly. But to answer this question, are you buying or are you selling T-Law or holding?
Can I finish my draft prospects take before we do the T-Law thing?
Oh yeah, by all means, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, Cade Klubnik, trash. Moving on. Didn't develop not one bit in his entire time in Clemson. I bet you if you took his film 3 years ago, he looks exactly the same as he does today. Carson Beck, I think, is going to be a sneaky round 1 NFL draft pick, similar to the way Jackson Dart kind of snuck into the first round. The quarterback class is just so bad. And again, the NFL turns over quarterbacks like crazy. He may not go to a situation where he starts right away. There's a team that you have on your list that I think actually might be an okay spot for him. But yeah, I think that the way we view Carson Beck as fantasy football watchers and just like general fans of the sport isn't going to be the same way that NFL prospects view him or scouts view him, excuse me. So I do think that he's like my, under the radar first round pick guy. And then the top 2, obviously. So Fernando Mendoza, I have an interesting comp for. I want you to hear me out here. So maybe not necessarily play style wise, but I think he can put up similar fantasy production to Brock Purdy. Actually, yeah, play style wise, maybe not like watching the film. He kind of looks a little goofy when he's running. He looks like he's got a giraffe with like one leg that's shorter than the other 3, but I think that he runs enough that he can produce some kind of rushing floor. Like I feel like that his ceiling comp is what Brock Purdy's doing, not what Brock Purdy did this year. That was crazy. But I mean, like that, like fringe QB1, little bit of rushing upside, goes to the right place, could be fantasy relevant. How do you feel about that?
I don't hate it, and I definitely see it. He definitely carries himself like Brock Purdy does, as far as like smart guy, puts the ball in the receiver where it needs to be. He like understands the defenses, and to me seems the most pro ready for that.
If he didn't run as much, I think film wise, he looks exactly like Jared Goff. That would have been my comp had he been like a statue in the pocket.
I think he's more accurate than Jared Goff. But I see what you mean.
Yeah, like that. I think that's probably like if I threw him the film, how I would pick Jared Goff coming out of Cal. That's what he looks like to me.
Interesting.
And then Brock Purdy, Jared Goff. If he ends up being either one of those guys for fantasy, you hit the nail on the head. He had a pretty good quarterback there.
Yeah, you kind of crushed it.
Dante Moore is an interesting one. I remember having a conversation with Hawkins 3 years ago, and I told him to watch out for Dante Moore when he was coming out of high school because he was like 5-star recruit number. I think he was like top 5 guy in his class.
I think he was the number 1 quarterback.
Yeah, and he was training a lot with Patrick Mahomes. When he was in high school, it was him, Mahomes, and Dylan Raiola. That's how I knew about Dylan Raiola before Dylan. I didn't think Dylan Raiola was going to, take the Mahomes thing as far as he did. But anyway, yeah, I like Dante Moore's skill set. I really wish he would go back to college. I think that he just needs more experience under his belt. I think that he just needs to take more reps. Not that I think that he has any obvious holes in his game, but there is a stark difference in quarterback success in the NFL for guys who are seasoned and have played a bunch of games in college, taken a bunch of reps in college versus guys who didn't. So I would like to see him go back to college. He's only a redshirt sophomore. He's 20 years old. He's got his whole life ahead of him. Mm-hmm. I don't think he declares. I think that the Oregon finance department convinces him to come back. I also don't think that Oregon beats Indiana, but that is going to be a good game. So that's kind of where my take is. I do think Fernando Mendoza is going to be locked in 101. Regardless, and if Dante Moore comes out, he'll be 102. Now, for fantasy, it'd be a little bit more interesting because I think Dante Moore provides a little bit more with his legs, but either way, I think either one of them could be 102, 103 in Superflex, same tier guys. You wouldn't be mad at it.
I got you. I mean, he's looked good. Sorry. Just gushing over Mendoza, even though he's going to go to the Raiders and they're just going to obliterate him.
So I've got one firm starter coming out of the draft this year. It's Fernando Mendoza. Carson Beck, kind of iffy. The free agent class, I think, is where you're going to see some really interesting names. And I don't know if you've paid attention to what I've been doing in our dynasty leagues. Mm-hmm. Let me know if any of these names sound familiar to you. Daniel Jones, Malik Willis, Jimmy Garoppolo, Mitch Trubisky, Trey Lance, Zach Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota, Tyrod Taylor, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Carson Wentz, Gardner Minshew, and we threw Sam Howell in there. Just, why not? That's the list of, 90% of the free agent quarterbacks. I left the Case Keenums and Josh Johnsons off because that is just terrible. That is gross. That I would never roster either of those individuals.
Okay, realistically, when I look at this list, here's what I think is going to happen. Yep. Daniel Jones resigns with the Colts, okay?
Are you assuming that he's ready week 1?
No.
Okay. Continue.
They still have AR on his first round, and so I think AR is going to start. They're going to give him a shot. And then once he's struggling, which he will, or maybe, he takes the Josh Allen approach. 3rd year, blow up. Who knows? Maybe he does that. But Malik Willis has done enough for Green Bay. he's going to get a starting gig wherever there's a starting gig available. Jimmy G is dead. Mitch Trubisky's dead. Trey Lance, holy cow, he looked terrible last week. Zach Wilson, sadly, back up. I feel bad for him. I would have loved to see how he did in that Dolphins offense. But they were like, we needed to see Quinn Ewers and see what he has for us.
So my counter argument to that is if you're the Dolphins, you drafted Quinn Ewers, granted in the 7th round. When did they bench Tua? It was like the last 4 games?
3 games, yeah.
3 games, yeah. What purpose does it serve to throw Zach Wilson out there? He's a free agent. All you're doing is promoting him for somebody else to go sign him.
No, exactly. And that's why I said like that. Like, I don't blame them. They wanted to see who they had. But I would have loved to see him in that offense.
I actually think Quinn Ewers played pretty well, too. Pretty well for the standard that I had for him.
He's still doing everything that I hated that he did. He doesn't set his feet and throw with his body. He's just all arm.
Super tight hips, can't, rotate.
Dude, everything.
Yeah. He's like those dudes outside, those inflatable things outside of car dealerships.
Exactly. It's just like, what are we doing here? And then Aaron Rodgers probably retires. If not, he'll come back with the Steelers, I think, depending on if he does a God run or not. And yes, I'm surprised he hasn't been fired either, but I don't think he will be. Russell Wilson, I think it's time for him to put the cleats up. If anywhere, he's going as a backup to a young rookie guy so they can have a veteran's presence. Marcus Mariota.
He said earlier today, I think, that he's got football left in him and he knows what he can do, so he's not retiring.
Alrighty then.
Marcus
Mariota, career backup. Tyrod Taylor, career backup. Joe Flacco, ancient. Kenny Pickett, you had your chance, buddy, with the Raiders and the Browns.
Super Bowl champion, Kenny Pickett. Let's put some respect on his name.
No. Carson Wentz, injured. Don't know what to tell you. Gardner Minshew died too soon.
He was fun. He was fun while it lasted.
It was such a good time. And then Sam Howell. UNC great Sam Howell. 5-star recruit Sam Howell.
Sam Howell, who had 4,000 passing yards with the Commanders as a rookie, I think.
Was a great guy. Great time.
Granted, he threw the ball like 650 times, but
he did something no Bears ever done in their entire life. So, whatever.
Oh yeah. I guess Caleb Williams probably didn't get there, did he?
No, he got to like 380.
I know he needed 270 yards in the last game to do it, and I was like, "There's like a 5% chance he does it."
Yeah, no, he barely outbeat Bo Nix. So
you kind of went through this list pretty quickly. I'll give you something a little spicy. One of, if not both of, Mitch Trubisky and Jimmy Garoppolo are going to get starting jobs somewhere else. First off, Mitch Trubisky's been a backup behind Josh Allen for a couple years now in what is widely considered a good system. He's got the first round top 10 draft capital, which those quarterbacks tend to hang around way longer than they should in the NFL. And his one lone start, or not start technically, one lone game he just had, he absolutely cooked the Jets, who suck. But
the interceptionless Jets.
That's insane. That is absolutely insane to have a defensive back as a head coach, and then you be the first team in NFL history to finish the season with no interceptions.
And he didn't get fired.
But he's got starting experience. I think that there's going to be quite a few bridge quarterbacks in this class that get similar deals to like what Justin Fields got, like 2 years, $40 million. Like, front load it, make it like cuttable after the first year kind of deal. Like, hey, get us to our future. I think Mitch Trubisky and Jimmy Garoppolo, who both had, some level of success. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo played in the Super Bowl. And then he's just been stuck in a Sean McVay system forever. He'd be almost one of the perfect guys to go mentor or bridge to a young quarterback. So I think one of those two ends up. Trey Lance, career backup. He's going to be in the league forever. I'm sure after his next contract, we'll talk about him. Hey, this is his chance. He's been behind Herbert for 8 years. Now it's his time.
He looks so bad.
Dude, Trey Lance is 24 years old. This motherfucker is younger than Bo Nix. It's just crazy to think about. Bo Nix is in his second year in the NFL, and this dude's already a free agent.
He's younger than Tyler Shuck, too.
Oh, yeah.
Tyler Shuck's older than Bo Nix. Get the fuck out of here with the Bo Nix slander. I will not tolerate it.
It wasn't slander. Talking about how old somebody is isn't slander.
I know. I'm sorry.
Zach Wilson's an interesting wild card for me.
I would like to see him get one more start. Sam Darnold did.
That's what I'm talking about. Like the Sam Darnolds of the world. Like there are just too many quarterbacks that we've seen with first round capital just kind of linger around and get these opportunities. Daniel Jones was a backup for a little while, just a short while in Minnesota, and then he got his shot in Indianapolis, and now everybody loves him. So these first round quarterbacks that are hitting free agency, especially this year, like I would not be surprised. It wouldn't shock me if Zach Wilson, Trubisky, Garoppolo, Willis not first round pick, but it wouldn't shock me in the slightest if these guys ended up, going somewhere and competing and winning a starting job, being a bridge quarterback nonetheless. That's why I picked all those dudes up off of waivers as soon as we expanded rosters. I was like, give me that. If I can spend $1 fab on Mitch Trubisky and week 6 next year, flip him like for a second round pick to a desperate quarterback team, good with that. So that's just kind of my theory on it. There's first round quarterbacks get too many opportunities. It's what you live and die by.
Yeah, they do, sadly.
But Malik Willis has actually looked really good. I'm interested to see with Jordan Love's injury history if the Packers don't kind of make him like one of the highest paid backups and be like, hey, man, why don't you come back and you're going to get a couple starts a year here and something to think about.
Zach Wilson to the Vikings would be fun.
That'd be really fun. You know who would be even better to the Vikings? One of these trade or cut candidates like Kyler Murray.
Yeah.
So trade or cut candidates, we have Jacoby Brissett, Kyler Murray, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, Jameis Winston, Drew Lock, Anthony Richardson, Joe Milton, Tanner McKee, Kirk Cousins, Geno Smith, Spencer Rattler, and Davis Mills. I threw anybody who I have like caught wind of that, could like potentially be like greater than like 0.01% type of deal. So obviously some of these names aren't going anywhere, but you never know. So any of these names intrigue you? You got anybody who you think is going to be a firm starter? I'm assuming obviously one of, if not both of Jacoby Brissett and Kyler Murray are going to be starters somewhere.
Sorry. Apparently I had an appointment today, so I'm going to get charged a no-show fee.
Wait, what's up?
I had an appointment today, apparently, and I didn't get a... It doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Okay. I'm just going to get charged $200 for no reason. That's always fun. But as far as trade cut candidates here, I think Kyler Murray is a trade candidate. And just like Timothy Branch has put in there, I do think Jacoby Brissett is going to be a bridge quarterback for whoever is the successor to him. Mac Jones, they would have to trade for him. I would like to see Mac Jones in a Vikings uniform. That would be fun.
I don't think the Vikings trade for a quarterback. I think they'd sign one if they replaced.
I bet you give up a 5th-round draft pick and get...
The 49ers would tell you to absolutely kick rocks down the street.
I don't know.
With Brock Purdy's injury history?
Fair enough. Justin Fields is dead. Jameson Winston is Jameson
Career
Winston.
backup.
Yep, career backup. Drew Lock, career backup. Anthony Richardson, like I said earlier, I think he's going to stay with the Colts. Joe Milton stays with the Cowboys. Tanner McKee looked absolutely stellar, I guess, with the Eagles.
It has like 3 starts, yes.
How did he look last week?
I'll be honest with you. I didn't watch the Week 18 game. Not one snap.
Interesting.
I
I remember like browsing at it every now and then, and he was missing a ton of throws. So
yeah, in his defense, he did play entirely with backups.
True.
Minus the first 4 passes of the game that all went to Devontae Smith.
Kirk Cousins, I think, is going to stay with the Falcons.
Mostly because I think Penix won't be ready.
Yeah. And Geno Smith, I think it's time for him to be a career backup. He'll be a good mentor for somebody and be a good backup. And Spencer Rattler, I bet you
I think he stays in New Orleans and backs up Chuck.
Yeah, but I bet you he's just a locker room cancer, dude.
What makes you say that?
Did you ever watch the Quarterback One series?
I didn't.
You should just YouTube Spencer Rattler QB1 series, Netflix series.
Okay. Will do.
He's just a dick on it.
How do you really feel about Spencer Rattler, Jake?
He's the type of guy that got spoon-fed everything, thinks he's hot shit, and needed to be punched in the face more.
Okay. So that being said, now that we've gone through our list of draft prospects, free agents, and trade and cut candidates, if I left out any names, please feel free to throw them in the chat. What we're going to do here in this next section is Jake and I have come up with teams with 2 sections, 2 parts. Teams that we think have a greater than 50% chance of replacing their 2025 QB. I listed the 2025 QBs next to my teams. It looks like you have all the same teams, actually, so we can kind of go through that together. No, we have one difference.
Yeah, one difference. But to be fair, you said 25 to 50% chance.
No, that's the next section.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, greater than 50%?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so greater than 50% we do match up.
Yeah.
I sorted my teams in the order in which I think has the best to worst situations. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I like it. Okay.
And then the other section that we're going to do is we have teams with 25 to 50% chance of replacing their quarterback. So it's not likely, but it is something that's on the radar. So we'll start with the greater than 50% chance of replacing their quarterback. Jake, why don't you read the teams since we have all the same ones and then start giving your takes?
Yes, so the 5 teams that we have are the Dolphins, Jets, Browns, Steelers, Raiders.
Some of those are kind of obvious. I think the only one that people really would question is the Browns.
Yeah. So Dolphins definitely have the best place for a quarterback to go. They have Waddle, they have Tyreek Hill. Yes, he's injured and old. We don't know what's going to happen to him, but they also have A-Chain. And they also have 2 other running backs that I don't think got enough credit for the little things they did in Ollie Gordon and, man, is it Jalen Wright?
Oh, Jalen Wright, yeah.
Yeah, it's Jalen Wright, yeah. And those guys both also did great. Literally, the rushing schemes in that offense are probably what is keeping what is his name? Mike what?
Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel's job, because they rush the ball incredibly well. They just need that quarterback who doesn't have 100 concussions, because before that, Tua was a dog in that offense.
I don't mean, I wouldn't say before that Tua was a dog in the offense. Let's bear in mind that Tua in his rookie year got benched 3 separate times because he was so bad.
Let's keep in mind though, Tua before
he literally has only had one notable season in his entire career,
and it was an MVP caliber season.
I think that's a loosely used term there. Led the league in yards, but I think he only threw like 26 touchdowns that year.
Well, like I said, incredible rushing.
I have the Dolphins as the number one like team of those 5 teams because we have the same 5 teams because I think they have the best play caller too. I mean, the Raiders and Browns are replacing their head coaches. The Steelers offense looks dead. I mean, they've looked dead for years. I don't know who's calling plays there, but they've looked terrible for years. And then the Jets. That's about it. That's all it needs to be said. So that's why I have the Dolphins number 1. And then, yeah, I mean, the rest of these situations, I have the Steelers number 2. I mean, as not great as their offense looks, they're also not like bad for fantasy. I mean, they're definitely not the worst team on this list, but I do think that there's a stark difference in fantasy potential for whatever quarterback steps in to the Steelers offense in 2026 versus the Dolphins.
I do want to say, I think you have the Browns too low on here.
We don't know who their play caller is, and they don't have any wide receivers. Any at all.
How dare you disrespect my boy David Njoku?
Who's a free agent. Not even a Brown anymore.
Ooh. Jerry Jeudy, Cedric Tillman. Don't disrespect my Jags, okay?
Trash. They're not even. Jerry Jeudy's not even a Jag anymore. He's just trash.
Elite defense, above average offensive line.
Mm-hmm.
Great running backs.
I disagree.
You don't think Judkins is that good?
I think Judkins is good. I don't think that they have great running backs. Wow, Jason Garrett is interviewing for the Titans head coaching job. Good thing I do not have a ton of Cam Ward chairs.
Just the one?
But, I mean, Judkins, had some great games early, and then the bye week hit. He was kind of like, eh. And then he just, snapped his leg. Not snapped his leg. He didn't go full Cam Scattaboo, but he has a very significant injury. Sounds like it'll, keep him out, right up till training camp. So, I mean, outside of Fannin and Judkins, they don't really have any weapons. We don't know what their play caller is going to be right now because Kevin Stefanski just got fired. They don't have any wide receiver help.
Mm-hmm.
So, to me, the Browns and the Raiders are probably interchangeable. You could put them above the Raiders and I'd be okay. But Brock Bowers existing is kind of why I had them, above.
I don't know. I still make an argument for that because, literally Judkins was facing 10-man boxes.
Genti was too, and he had 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns as a rookie.
Look at the carry difference.
Well, that's also another part of it is Genti survived 17 games.
True. Injuries happen, though, but I get it. That's fine. We can agree.
Yeah, it's the same tier. I just think that where the Browns are strong at, the Raiders just also happen to be a little bit stronger at. But, the Browns probably do have a better offensive line.
Absolutely. Leaps and bounds better than the Raiders probably have the worst offensive line in football.
Yeah, but the reason I have the Raiders above is because assuming that, nothing unexpected happens, we know who their quarterback's going to be. I'm assuming we're pegging for Fernando Mendoza to go to the Raiders. Okay. Who do you got going to the Dolphins?
I mean, who I'd like to see?
Yeah, sure.
I would like to see Mac Jones there.
Okay. Just one name.
I would love to see Kyler Murray there. I think he would thrive there.
One name.
Oh, just one?
Yeah, we're calling our shots.
Oh, Kyler Murray.
Okay. Kyler Murray to the Dolphins. That'd be an interesting move to try and offload one big contract for another. What about the Steelers?
Steelers. Honestly, I think Malik Willis would be fun there. He has DK Metcalf, a big body receiver. He's a rusher. Has running backs. That'd be fun.
That's something I didn't think of. That's a good one. I like that.
Thanks. For the Raiders, Mendoza, like we talked about. Browns, I think they bring in quarterback competition through the draft. Or they're really going to just be like, we just paid Deshaun Watson $256 million. Let's throw him out there again until he gets hurt.
That's where I was going to go, which was going to be a super spicy take, but I was going to say that their quarterback is already on the roster, and I think it's Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Maybe Shador can learn, and then when Watson inevitably gets injured.
Shador had some really high highs. Don't get me wrong. Like, he wasn't flat out terrible. You know, he wasn't Geno Smith, but I do think that there were some lows too, and that he would benefit from just, you know,
Sitting.
watching somebody that isn't Kenny Pickett or, you know,
Dylan Gabriel.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel. Joe Flacco, the ghost of.
Yeah.
All right. And who do you think the Jets land?
God, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't. They have so many issues.
It just needs to be somebody that can get Garrett Wilson the football.
And I mean, at that point, you're like, you know what? Joe Flacco ain't so bad.
God, Joe Flacco would retire before he goes to the Jets, dude.
I bet he would.
I can't see it.
That would be very interesting to see for sure.
Here you go. Here's one. Zach Wilson of the Jets. God, he would probably retire too.
Mm-hmm.
No, this is kind of a situation where I see Jimmy Garoppolo or Mitch Trubisky going.
See, I was just about to say Jameis Winston there would be fun. For fantasy football reasons only.
Oh, yeah.
Because Garrett Wilson would get the ball 3 billion times.
Yeah, I think that's a Garoppolo Trubisky landing spot though. That's kind of the vibe that I get.
Yep.
Garoppolo wouldn't be bad for Wilson.
Mm-mm.
All right, and then the last section was teams that we believe have a 25 to 50% chance of replacing their quarterback. We both have the Cardinals on here. It's either Kyler Murray or Jacoby. I reference Kyler Murray as the starting quarterback here. I actually think there's a greater than 50% chance that he is the starter for the Cardinals week 1, 2026. I would not be surprised if they moved off of him, though, and started Jacoby Brissett. But it will be one of those two.
What if it never happens. It happens in Madden when we play. But look, you said a big contract for big contract. What if just Murray for Tua? Swapping, new places, new environments.
That would be an interesting deal. I don't know how I'd feel about that in the moment. I would feel like, let's see. Let me just envision that happens. Okay, that's probably not super great for McBride. I mean, but he'd still get his. It'd be better for MHJ. And then I think it would be a hit for Waddle, but I think Kyler's stock would go up. That's kind of how I'd feel about that.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think it'd be a hit for McBride because I mean, just look at what Tua was doing at the Dolphins. He made Darren freaking Waller relevant.
Well, I think it's more so a hit for McBride because I'm curious to see what kind of offensive coordinator they bring in.
Fair enough. Hopefully, a smart one that understands. Oh my gosh, I just saw that Davis Mills is on here, and I didn't talk about him.
I could see Davis Mills getting another shot after as a free agent, though. Like
No,
that's
no, no. But I definitely see him going somewhere. He's smart, can get the ball where he needs, has a huge neck. He can stick it out there.
Oh yeah, helps to see over those linemen. Go gadget neck.
That's mean. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Davis Mills. The
Just
only person that
flash-
gave you shit in here was Tim Hawkins when he said the Broncos barely beat a Davis Mills led Houston team.
Let's not fake like Davis Mills didn't arguably save the Texans.
No,
year.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. Is Hawkins like was talking shit like, oh, the Broncos barely beat a Houston-led Davis Mills team in the second half.
Bro, Houston's defense is elite.
And then he goes on to win 3 straight games as a starter. Like, get the fuck out of here.
You're gonna be offended by this, and that's fine. Houston's defense is the best defense in football.
I'm not offended, and I think that is very accurately portrayed.
Okay.
Denver's defense is good, but predictable because Vance Joseph is dog water, and I pray to God he gets hired somewhere. He does it year in, year out. Comes
You know
in.
who I really like? Vic Fangio.
I miss him. And it was too soon to bring him back because Sean Payton said multiple times that was the first coach he reached out to.
We love him here. He's not going nowhere.
Nope. Denver loved him too, just not as head coach.
So I have 2 other teams on here in the 25 to 50% range. I have the Vikings replacing JJ McCarthy. So you think there's a less than 25% chance JJ McCarthy gets replaced?
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. I do ultimately, obviously, lean more than 50% he gets a shot, but I could also see where there's potentially no progression in training camp, or they make the other one of the Trubisky and Garoppolo signings,
Yeah.
and bring them in, kind of like Daniel Jones did with Anthony Richardson. I could see a similar situation to that where Richardson's got the draft capital. He was the guy from the previous year, but let's go bring in a vet for some competition. Turns out that they end up being the starter.
Tim Stefanski to the Eagles, what would he do? Offensive coordinator?
Yeah.
That would be dope.
He's already got interviews for head coaching positions. Oh, he's not going to be an
2-time coach of the year? Yeah, nah, get out of here. That man is going to have jobs lined up.
Cliff Kingsbury would be an interesting offensive coordinator hire for one season only, and then he can go into the head coaching cycle next year. But
do you miss Kellen Moore?
If I had my choice, I'd prefer Shane Steichen.
Oh, yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
I love Kellen Moore. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, compared to this year, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And then the other one, I have the 25 to 50% chance. And when I wrote this on the document, which was Friday,
something like that,
Thursday maybe, when I wrote this down, this was probably closer to 25 to 26%. In light of recent events, this is closer to 40, 45% for me, and that's Michael Penix. So Michael Penix has a very, very, very long injury history. It's the reason he was in college for so long.
Mm-hmm.
He has a short NFL history of not being that successful. And anybody who is tied to his draft pick just got cleaned out of the house. The head coach, the GM, everybody.
Yep.
So not only that, he's not healthy. So I didn't just have this on here in the sense of he may not start week 1. He may just get replaced.
Yeah.
So we'll see, especially with no maybe Kirk Cousins comes out, lights the world on fire, and then Penix takes the bench when he's healthy and ready to come back.
I mean, he can still learn.
You have an interesting name team on here. It's the last team we'll talk about. I'll let you go ahead and take the floor. Who you got?
Yes, I have the Los Angeles Rams. And to me, this 25% is probably where I'd put this at. Is you had a healthy Stafford all year. That is very rare. Also, they have a really good team.
Whoa. Very rare.
Okay, not very rare. He's played for like 20 years, but
How about say Stafford got the nickname Iron Man because he played every single game up until, what was that, 2 years ago or last year that he got hurt?
nah, I think it was 2 years ago. And then it took over last year as well. I can't remember.
Anyway,
But yeah, anyhow, if he goes on to win the Super Bowl, I think 1,000% he will retire, run into the sunset, and go nuts.
so you're thinking that the Rams have a greater than 25, less than 50% chance of winning the Super Bowl?
I think they have a greater than 25% chance, yeah.
Dude, I saw the odds for the Super Bowl today. They got the Seahawks as the favorite, plus 400. I was like, Vegas has a lot of faith in Sam Darnold.
Yeah, it's rough. They also, yeah, it's going to be a crapshoot. I'm excited. This is the first time I've been excited about the playoffs in a very long time.
Since 2015, probably.
I mean, we made the playoffs last year, and I was excited, but I knew we were about to get our ass beat by the Bills, so it's fine. But besides that, no, just like I think it's every year it's the Eagles and the Chiefs, and that's what it seems like it's been like the last 5 years.
Good. Because we ain't got no problem beating the Chiefs.
This is literally just the first time I feel like it is a crapshoot. Anything can happen. Any seed can win. And that's what makes watching football fun.
I agree with that 100%. I feel like this season has the most parity across the not just like the playoff teams, but even some of the teams that just missed the playoffs. Like I saw a crazy stat that said the Falcons were eliminated from the playoffs on December 7th and finished tied for first in their division.
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't that crazy to see something like that? So
absolutely insane.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. I think that there's a lot of parity. I think that this is a very exciting season, and anybody can win it. No real true standout. Now, the Patriots have looked really good, but they've largely survived off beating off bad teams. So curious to see how that turns out.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely curious to see how that turns out.
But I've got nothing else to add, so that's our 2025 kind of quarterback preview. We'll do position by position. Like I said, keep an eye out. We are trying to figure out what day and time works best for us, potentially Thursdays. So, yeah. Jake, got anything you want to
add? No, sir. Just can't wait to talk this offseason about prospects.
Yeah, we got running backs next, then wide receivers, then tight ends, and then by then we'll have all of our draft declares, and we'll roll right into the prospects. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of BSing Sports, where we do a little BS and we talk a whole lot of